I'm Esteban Gutierrez, and my role is to support our drivers in the Mercedes-AMG Petronas Esports team. I'm going to be supporting the drivers to get their preparation level with a right structure to try to prepare in the best way for the competition. We are trying to bring the esports team to the same approach that we have on the Formula One team. So the mentality, the methodology of the work that we are doing, it's going to be implemented into the esports team, and that's what makes the Mercedes-AMG Petronas Esports team very good. The F1 Esports calendar starts in October and it runs to December. It's going to be 12 races spread into 4 events.
The lockdown was an extraordinary time for the world of esports. It was difficult around the world, but we now had an environment where we had engineers, professional racing drivers like Esteban Gutierrez and George Russell, and our simulator drivers all able to come together at the same time and work together towards a common goal, to win. We entered multiple championships. You would have seen in the world of pro esports, Esteban and George fighting at the front the entire time. And in the world of simulator, Brendon Lee and Bono Rees, again, always at the sharp end of the grid. Previously, drivers sort of practiced by themselves to a certain extent. Now we introduce data, engineers, debriefs, format, plans. And not just that, we had a combination of some of the best driving talent, both real world and simulator, together at the same time. And the combination meant that everyone improved as a result. Everyone works together now, practices together, talks about the experiences that they've learned. They're competitors on track, no doubt about it. Once they get into the environment, they will be fighting each other. But until that point, they work together to make sure they're fighting at the sharp end. And that's one of the key changes. Introducing that as well, the likes of Esteban Gutierrez, who has a completely different approach, but one that produces lap times that are near identical. And all of a sudden, you get this really interesting mix of how to extract lap time and how to approach things differently. Finally, we have a regimented plan in place. So it's not just lap after lap after lap. We focus on what we need out of qualifying, the specifics of the psychology, what we need out of the race, how do we get consistency out of it, how to use the tools available to you, and how to communicate to your engineers.
I'm Brendon Lee, and my role within Mercedes is to be a Formula One esports driver, also a simulator driver within the simulator department of the team. The season will look very similar to the real Formula One World Championship, so we'll have qualifying Q1, Q2 and Q3. Also, we'll have 35% race distances. What's a bit different to real Formula One, but that's to keep the races more compact, more exciting and more drama-filled. Every single team in real Formula One will be competing in the F1 Esports World Championship, such as Mercedes and all the top brands in the world. In real life Formula One, there's quite a lot of differences between the cars and the performance behind the cars. In F1 Esports, that's not the same. In F1 Esports, every car will achieve exactly the same lap time. So it's all down to the driver to make the difference. For example, in qualifying, 20 cars can separate by 0.2 of a second, and that's how tight it is. So here at Mercedes, we're training a lot to make sure we're at the peak and the top of our capabilities and performing at the best we can.
As Mercedes, we're here to compete to win, as are all the other teams that are participating in esports. Esports has changed. Before, it was growing just a little bit every year. People understood that it was there. But over the lockdown and over the last 6 months, the world's realized that actually the world of esports is incredibly competitive. The amount of dedication required to go into it is enormous. It's the same level as any other professional athlete. We as Mercedes are here competing with drivers that can win. We have a driver that has multiple world championships and another driver that has shown he is able to win in every environment he's participated in. Those two are part of the ethos that we share here inside Mercedes, and it's one that we want to win together, build a culture of understanding that failure can happen, will happen, and it's how you build on that that is incredibly important, not the failure itself. We're here to make sure that every race we become just that little bit better. We've supplemented that this year with real Formula One driver world experience with Esteban Gutierrez. We know that we're going to be able to build on whatever happened previously with huge amounts more expertise, data, systems and engineering. I, for one, am excited to see how they get on.